Holy crap, was I not expecting the ending of Erased at all. I've been keeping myself away from most of like seasonal stuff that I've been here. I've been keeping myself away from most of the trailers, any of that, and I gotta say, Erased so far, yeah, that's got the contender to having best episode so far for all of winter 2016 because... because that right there was fucking great and I absolutely enjoyed that. So if people don't know about this series, this is a psychological seinen supernatural series and the Japanese name is Boku dake ga Inai Machi, and basically the whole story or premise of this is that a struggling mangaka known as Satoru Fujinuma is, pretty much like he has this weird ability that he keeps going back in like time, like about like 5 to a minute, and he has to look around and like see the problems of what we see. And this is very interesting to see. Like this is like a kind of weird premise. Like the actual main guy himself doesn't seem like he even cares or gives a shit about anything that he's really doing. Like he's a manga that's trying to get his work out and he's not really doing anything. He's 29 years old. He hasn't got like he isn't making a great income, and even as well like with his mom as well. It does seem like his mom loves him, but not in the way where he really feels like proud like of his son. And like even when he like does this really good deed of where like this guy had a heart attack on a lorry and he died, he was because he got like the truck was going all the way fucking out, he had to go right on his bike because he does a pizza delivery job, fucking goes to the lorry and just turns the over and then gets hit by a fucking car, and it's like, oh, and the only person that seems to like really give a crap about him is like just this one high school girl that's like around about like I think it's like 16, 18 or something like that, and she's just like, oh yeah, makes like jokes with him like school, like whenever he does work, and it's like, oh, that's it. And like even when his mom and saw that, it's like doing this stuff, it's like, oh, there's something going wrong with and he doesn't know what it is, and it's kind of unsure about the powers of whether or not like what happens if he messes up the first time. Like after a while, did that just happen? Because he's had this power for like a long while, and I think like ever since this one instant with like this one guy that he knew, like I believe his name was like Yuki, the way it was, and he was like, oh, he was a really friendly kind of like high schooler kind of guy, like near like young like adult, and he was very friendly, and then it turns out like he was a serial killer, got a really fucked already, like he used to do this to a bunch of kids. And then even as well, he was like, oh, this one girl that I used to know like back in the day, like I think her name was like Hinazuki, got like kidnapped and murdered, and it was like, oh, but I swear, like I could have done this, I could have saved her if only I said, yeah, let's walk home together. It's like I could have saved her, and it's like it isn't Yuki, and finding out that this fucking person's been around all this time and that he was trying to get another kid, and that was the whole incident, and his mom caught a whiff of this guy, and it's like, oh shit, I know who the fucking killer is. And that fucking killer, like, I really didn't expect that in the first episode, just to go crazy. The killer goes straight into his house, stabs his mom right there, and even, like, she's there, like, trying to grab the phone, like, trying to, like, call him, saying, like, I need to tell him who he is and not to worry, don't come home or anything like that. You don't want to see this event. And then getting fucking framed for the murder. Like, he went to see if his mom was alright on the floor. He turns it over, blood on his hand, and his neighbor calls the cops. And it's like, oh yeah, he's like being charged with the murder. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna have what happened to Yuki. And he just runs away. Like, oh my god, I need to get out of there. Like, going like, because how would you react? You're being accused of the murder. Your mom just died. You just saw that the guy that just left your place right now, you could have stopped him. You failed like once again, like you did all those years ago when you was a little kid, and it's like all of it just adding up again, and it's just like his ability just all the way, like just goes, instead of just an hour a day, it takes him all the way when he was a little kid. I think it takes him back like around about like 18 years, I'd like to say. Like I think because he's like 29, so he goes back to when he's about 10 or 11, and it's just like that's the ending of the episode. And I gotta say, A1 Pictures, I was really surprised. Like it was really nicely animated. I really do like the character designs, and I'm really curious. Like I don't know nothing about it apart from that it's a manga. That's all I know about the series, and I didn't know about anything about the actual series itself apart from that, hey, it's getting licensed and just you check it out, and I'm really looking forward. Honestly, so far I think this is the best episode. Like it was a nice setup, and it wasn't like too slow in the way where it was like, oh, I'm kind of getting a little bit bored because it was still introducing you stuff and the character, like, and I can kind of relate to the main character himself, like Fujino, like with life kind of like having just like slowing down, nothing really going on. You're like, I can relate to that stuff. I've had some dark moments in my life where I've gone through stuff like that, where nothing in my life has worked really well, and I feel like I've hit rock bottom. And that's honestly how he felt, but obviously I didn't have that power. And like, even when he has this power and just not being appreciated for it, or not even having anything, it's like, even with the whole kid and everything, it's just like, oh yeah, just life goes on. Like, oh, that's the thing, like with Yusuke Urameshi from Hakusho, that little kid went to thank him for that one, no thanks were given to him, like no shit was given like that. And it's like, that's kind of really fucked up, honestly. 9. Like, I think this episode was a really great 9. So I felt bad for the mom because I started to actually care for her at the end of this episode. I was like, no, don't die on me. Like, it's like, so I'm really curious, like, is the killer someone from like his childhood? Because there was that one guy that looked really suspicious in like the pizza delivery place. Not to mention as well, like from what we saw the character design, like I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's still ongoing, this manga, or anything, or what's going on with it, how long it's going to be, but it's definitely, from what it's sounding like, this killer is somewhat, yeah, like it's someone that he should know, like Fujino, like, should know who the hell this guy is, like in some way, and I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly is going. So honestly, really interesting series so far. Cannot wait. Really want to talk about this episode. It was really interesting, and just, yeah, once that happened, the whole mom stuff happened afterwards, just shit went crazy, and I was like, I was really not expecting that from the series. I didn't even know that this series was seinen, so this shit could get really dark, and I did notice that with the whole kids kidnapping kind of rape stuff, like that was hinted as well, that there was rape on those kids, so yeah. That was some crazy shit on there. Well, I think it was kind of like hinting already, because like, what the fuck would most people take kids? Like, it's kind of fucking creepy on that shit anyway. But it's like, let me know what you guys think about like this series. What do you think about Boku dake ERASED? Like, I honestly loved it, and I cannot wait to see episode 2. I really want to see what it does with this concept going back in time, all the way back to his childhood. Like, obviously he's going to be saving this girl, like Hinazuki, and it's going to be interesting how he's going to be changing time. Like, this is really interesting for me. But that's all from me. I want to thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.